Headscarves are having a moment right now, which is great news for me because they're perfect for those bad hair days or times when your hair needs a wash and you just haven't got around to it. I recently wore a headscarf in one of my videos and got so many cool comments and some questions on how to tie them. So today I've grabbed some of my favorite silk scarves and I'm sharing 10 favorite ways that I use to tie them so they look chic and timeless. I hope you enjoy this one.
Okay, this first method is super simple. I've just grabbed this new dark Hampton scarf that I was gifted. It's a beautiful large silk scarf. I just love the colors in this. And all I've done is folded it into a triangle. And then essentially I've just kind of folded the top over because I wanted to get some of that red color that was going to show. So I folded it over to the color combination that I wanted to see, popped it on my head, and then simply tied it behind. This is kind of like a traditional headscarf, I suppose you could say, but you can see what I mean there. I just wanted to get that little bit of red showing to match my lipstick. It was a little bit hard to tie this one today because my hair was freshly washed and it just makes it extra slippery. But as you can see, this is a very simple look. It's great for days when you don't want to wash your hair or if you just want to add a little bit of extra color. I think this is probably my favorite. Okay, this method is very similar to the first. So you just grab a silk scarf, fold it in half so you end up with a large triangle, pop it onto your head and then tie it in a double knot at the back. This is a new scarf that I recently grabbed from Lily Silk, and in fact I will link all of the scarves that I feature in today's episode down in the description box if you want to check them out later. But all I'm doing here is just twisting the little tie around to the side so it just kind of shows from the front. So it's very similar to the first, as I said, but it just gives a little bit more color from the front. This one's really fun, and so I was given this scarf for my birthday this year. It's a beautiful PE Nation silk scarf. So once again, I'm just folding it in half. And you can't really see, but what I'm doing on my knees here is just kind of folding it so that it becomes a long, skinny scarf. Yeah, you can kind of see what I mean here. Then I'm putting it around the back of my head, and this one's actually going to go under my hair. So I've just pulled my hair out from underneath it, and then I'm just tying it up and around and into a knot at the top of my head. I'm just poking in those little pieces at the back there underneath, and I can tidy them up shortly. But essentially I am just tying it up in a double knot to secure it firmly at the top of my head. And then with those bunny ears, I've decided to make a feature of them and then just tied the two ends into a bit of a bow. And yep, there is the label. I should have actually taken that off. That is probably a good note to self, to unpick the labels off scarves before you start tying them. But that's the finished look. I really like this one. It's good for keeping my hair off my face too. Now this one I'm using a scarf that I bought at Walmart recently when I was over in the States, and I love the colors in this scarf. And as you can see, it's a little bit smaller, but that's fine. I've just folded it in half, and then on my knee I'm just rolling it over so that I'm creating a long skinny scarf. And this time I'm actually tying it on the outside of my hair. So I've just popped it around the back and brought it up to the top of my head, tied it into a double knot there, and then I'm just going to poke those little ends in behind the main scarf just to kind of make it look a little bit tidier and poke them away. Whoops, that one just fell out, so I didn't do a particularly good job of poking that one away, but I like the way that this just looks nice and tidy and fresh. And again, it just adds a little bit of color and keeps my hair away from my face. Now this one I'm using my favorite dark Hampton scarf again and folding it in half and then basically popping it straight over your head from behind. Now this one is particularly hard to do if your hair is squeaky clean like mine, so definitely try and keep this one for a day where your hair is not so clean. It just gets so slippery. But it's still doable. So what I'm doing here is just pulling it really tightly and then using an elastic to secure it in the same way you would just with your hair. So I'm popping this in and around about 3 times, I think, here, just to really tightly secure that scarf at the front of my head. And then all I'm doing is kind of wrapping it around that hair tie and slightly twisting it at the same time. It's really simple and it turns into this cool little top knot. And then with that end, I just poke that up and underneath, and that just is held securely in the hair tie. So it's a very simple look, but it's one that's a little bit of fun with the right outfit. Okay, next up I've grabbed this pretty blue silk scarf, and like the other methods, I've just folded it in half and then I'm simply rolling it from the long end and creating a bit of a long silk scarf snake. It's much easier to do it on your lap. And then essentially I am just popping it around my neck. And don't worry too much about those little bits because you can always sort of tuck them in as you go. So then I've just tied it in a double knot, and you can leave it like that if you like, but I prefer to actually go one step further and then secure it back around my neck and then back to the front again, and then just tie it in a double knot there. I quite like just having the 2 little tails showing instead of a long tail at the front. So there it is, and as you can see, that little tag again, I really need to get my unpicker out and get rid of the tags of my favorite scarves, but that's just another look. Now this one is a goodie too, and yes, I've just grabbed my scarf, folded it in half, and then folded it into a long flat scarf, and then tied it around my head from the front to the back over the top of my hair. And I'm just tying it in a double knot at the back there. Whoops, I think I'm struggling with that knot. There we go, I've got it. And then at that point you can kind of pull your hair, flatten it down and tuck in any little pieces that you don't want to show. But that to me is just a really simple, sophisticated scarf look. The next method, I decided to put my hair in a ponytail, and I wanted to use the Walmart scarf that I recently bought again, so I'm just tying my hair up. I quite like a low pony with this look, but you can do whatever you choose. And then I have grabbed the Walmart scarf, folded it in half, and then I will also fold it up into a long snake-like scarf, and then simply just tie that around your hair tie. It's obviously really simple, but I just wanted to remind you how fun it can be to use a scarf in your hair. I think it's something that I forget to do, but it's a fun way to add a little colour. Now next up, this is a slightly different version of one of the earlier scarves, and essentially I'm winding it into a tight snake. So instead of folding it into a flat scarf, I'm kind of just winding it around so that it becomes a real sort of snake-like, almost rope-like scarf. So you get all the different colours there that you can see as you twist it. And then essentially I'm just tying it at the top of my head again, and with those pieces, instead of tying it firmly at the top, I'm bringing them back around to underneath and tying them at the base of my head there. And those little ties, I can poke them in, but they'll also be hidden by my hair. And crossing them over at the top just kind of gives like a little half knot and just a bit of interest to this look. Now this is just a variation on one of the earlier styles, and so I've just grabbed a scarf, folded it in half, popped it on my head, and I'm tying it in one knot at the back. And with those little tails that are sticking out, you just twist them around, bring them back to the front, and then do a double knot at the top of your head. Then I just poke those little tail bits underneath themselves to hide them away. Whoops! Make sure that they're poked under nicely. It is a good one if your hair is just that little bit extra slippery, so it just gives a little bit more security. But you can kind of pop that wherever you like. I'm just having to play around with it, but yeah, just poke these little bits under and you've got a cute little look.
Anyway, that's it from me today. I do hope you enjoyed this one, and please let me know which tying method you like the best. Pop that in the comments below. I'd love to hear which is your favorite way to tie a headscarf. Anyway, thanks for watching. Give this one a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more, and I will see you real soon. Bye for now.